me and you will be like, what the fuck has happened to the panel? There is no panel tonight apart from me and Eric. Right, guys, I just want to start off with I get well soon to Viv. Viv's feeling under the weather tonight, so I get well to Viv. I hope you get well soon, my love. So tonight, guys, as you can see, I am joined with the wonderful Eric and the beautiful Wayne Seaton. So I'll give them a big head. Why not? Hey, Nettie. Hey. So tonight, guys, obviously everybody's favourite subject. Now, what I will ask tonight, guys, is that everybody is really respectful in their opinions and respect each other's opinions, because that's what para-unity is meant to be. Now, I'm going to kick it off. Para-unity, I don't see so much in the paranormal. I really, really don't. I think, and I mean, you guys have probably did it a lot longer than me, right? The only para-unity I've ever seen in the paranormal, and this is me being really brutally honest, is the para-unity when obviously a certain person went on a rampage and it took Barry Frankish to say, no, enough is enough. And he did the whole Proud to be Paranormal. That's the only time ever I've actually seen people stick together in my whole time of being in paranormal, because usually it's, I'm not going to be pals with you if you're pals with them, or I'm not going to talk to you if you do this, or people actually phoning up venues and wrecking other people's venues, like, oh, you better watch that person. Like, there's just no need for it. There's really no need for it. So, guys, what's your opinions on para-unity?
Well,
Hey, Rat.
I think it exists in some points, but I think people are forgetting that the whole idea of getting into this in the first place is to find evidence and share it. And people have lost track of that. They're more interested in making money, or, you know, people more going to their venues than anybody else's. That's why they do all that.
What about you, Wayne?
Yeah, well, I think para-unity does exist, but it takes incidences like recently to come to light that actually brings the paranormal community back together again. We tend to drift apart, and like Eric said, a lot of people, they want to they'll go out, they'll go ghost hunting, and you'll get a lot of teams that will stand there and it's all for likes. Please send stars, please share this out, please do this, and we've got GoFundMe for equipment. If you can't afford your own equipment, then you shouldn't be doing it. Simple as that.
Yep.
You know, you shouldn't be begging off of other people to provide you with the basis for you to go out investigating. So once something like this happens, you get this situation where the likes of Barry Frankish comes out with the Proud to be Paranormal badges and so on, which I think I've got. Yeah, I ordered 5, so I got mine. My Proud to be Paranormal badges.
Absolutely.
And that brought the paranormal community more together than ever before. You know, everybody was supporting the same thing, and it was quite an achievement, and it was a proud thing to be a part of. And luckily, it looks like it's going to be every year. But it's, you know, like Eric said, it's all about likes and fame and fortune. I can't stand that. I hate it. And people say to me about when I'm writing my books, they say to me, "Oh, why don't you try and get try to get with a proper publisher?" And I'm like, no, because I'm happy going at my own pace, releasing my books when I'm ready to release them, and have my books come out the way I want them. I don't want to be dictated to by an agent that probably will never read the books to tell me, oh, you need to do this or you need to do that. And that's how I'd rather do it. I don't really I post about them a fair bit, but that's to advertise them. And the reward I get is people reading them. And that's it for me. I'm not doing it to be a #1 bestseller or anything like that. It's because people like to read my books. And while they're still reading them, I'll still write them. You know,
well, that's exactly the problem is, as well, you get, as you say, when it's about the stars, it's about the how many followers somebody got. And what I noticed recently in the paranormal, and this must have been last year or the year before, I can't even remember. But there was a gentleman who I stumbled across his group and I messaged him, right, to see if one night maybe I'd thing me, go out with him. And then I realised that he had the sidekick that used to be in my first ever team that was an arsehole. And I went, nah, I don't fancy it. So the next thing you know, what happened was he got in with, and I'm not mentioning any names, he got in with a certain somebody, one of the 3 biggest teams apparently, right, and started running about with him. So when he started running about with him, I thought, you're just in this, you're just looking up to them so you could get your likes and get promoted. So he was getting promoted left, right and centre. Hello, my darling. And the next thing you know, they fell out, basically. So this person then went to the second, well, in fact, wait now to put it in order, who I think is the biggest teams. He jumped to the first person at the top of the chain, right? And he went up there and he started soaking in with them, and I thought, no, I know what your game plan is. Your game plan is, if I work my way around the 3 that, you know, popular ones, I'll get all the likes, I'll get all the stars. I don't think you should be like that. And as I say, right, and I have said, and I'm actually waiting for MD, who accepts stars, to actually take my challenge. And my challenge was, and I will issue it again, if your fans or members, right, whatever you decide to call them, right, mean a lot to you as much as you say they do, and they give you these stars every week, every day, or whatever, or every investigation live or whatever, right, then why don't you give something back? Why don't you give up 2 months worth of stars and say to your members or your fans or whatever you call them, you know what, guys, this is for free. See for what yous do. See for how much you guys put in. Well, I'm going to give you something back. Yous don't need to give me for X, Y, and Z amounts, but nobody will do it. No one will do it. And I think that's shocking. In the world that we're living in now, obviously with the cost of living and that, these people, and the saddest thing is these people are memorised by these people. If these people are told to jump, they'll be shouting, how high? And it's terrible. It is. And the other thing is the whole para-unity. What is para-unity? Really? And in essence, is it, there's the example, the top 3, right? I'll use them as a triangle. Used to fight among themselves. Used to throw missiles at each other. Or I don't like you. Now there's a video where 2 of them were in an incident where one charged at the other.
Wow.
And alive, may I add, and was pulled back by the bag, right? But then suddenly the three in the triangle became best of pals. They became best of pals to their 2.5 hour live, naming everybody's a troll, which I'll admit, Little Miss here was included in that. I got named and shamed in that 2.5 hour live where they were going through comments, and I thought, yous are only sticking together because yous want to become more, more out there. And the best it is, they then opened up a group. Believe it or not, you've got to laugh at the name. Name is Shame the Trolls. Now, if you look for that group these days, you'll never find it. Because it's gone. Because the three of them are back to, I hate you and all. I'm going to outsmart you. And it's just that para-unity, what is it really, guys? Come on. Really, come on.
Well, the essence of para-unity is like-minded paranormal investigators joining together to gain evidence of an afterlife.
Yep.
That's it. But it's that joining together which seems to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all go out and we all investigate haunted locations in the hope that we find evidence of an afterlife. But you've got the other side of it where people will cash in on what they're doing simply to make money or to be popular and to be famous, which boosts them even more, which eventually leads to money again. It's all money orientated. But the problem then is you get people that will say, oh, we're all about para-unity. And then the second they do a live feed, it's send us stars, send us this, send us that, share this out, get to as many people as possible. But it's not about that. The voice from above. It's it's not about that. It's about working together. And things like Parafest, Festival of the Unexplained, this is all what para-unity is about. Because at both events, like-minded paranormal investigators joined together under one roof, listened to guest speakers, and investigated the location together as a group. And that's it. That's all it should be. There shouldn't be any of this, oh, I've done this and I've done that. I mean, I could rant and rave about the many years that I spent working with Most Haunted. That's a part of my history that I would rather forget, because there's a lot of backstory behind it and a lot of backstory about the reason why I walked away from it. Yeah. And as far as I'm concerned now, that is history. And I'm happy for it to be there. I've now moved on with what I'm doing. I've now got my Spookanori events team, which next year, well, October this year, is going to be doing its first private event, which I'm thrilled to bits about because it's literally only just happened. So I'm pretty chuffed that I've been asked to do it. And then next year we will be starting our public events. Then on top of that, no sooner had I walked away from Most Haunted, within 3 months, I was asked to present Truth Beyond Paranormal. Now, we're now on coming to the end of our 4th season. We don't do it for likes. We don't do it for money. And we don't do it for stars, fame, or fortune. And that's it. We do it because we enjoy doing it. We enjoy it because our love of the paranormal, we want to share with other people. So we film it. We film an episode. We do live feeds at the same time. So everything you see on an episode can also be viewed as it happens. But not once do we turn around to people and say, help fund us. Help fund us into our next location. We pay for it all out of our own pockets. We look at how much it's going to cost. We go, right, it's going to be £35 each. That's it. And we do it.
Right, I'm going to run through some of these comments because they're building up. United, as long as you follow the leaders and only follow who they do. Exactly, in it. Hi, Clive.
Yeah.
People have their own agenda. That, Robert, I couldn't agree more. Wayne has no body. I know.
That was before we could see your head.
Hi, Sue. Hi, Holly. Wayne says, Drew says so true. I stand with Wayne. Hey, Dan. Holly says, I want my next page to be where people from all over can log on whenever they are and be also a serious hunt, like when I come from Florida to Scott or Washington State. Hi, Jeanette. policies. She wants a page Scotland and that. I knew what you meant. Robert says the teams are like Scottish fans, but can't stand together. Exactly, Robert. 100%. I actually really like that comment. Hi, Janine.
Shouldn't do it.
Mark said, hi, Mark. Oh, and Mark said, brilliant, man. It's alright. Brilliant, man. Well said. So, Eric, tell me, what's your thoughts on Para-Unity?
Well, like I said before, it works sometimes with people, you know. But the whole point is that you're out there, like Wayne said, to get evidence and share it. I mean, when I get something, I'm going to go to another team that I'm in. If they're in the same area, I'm going to go, hey, look what I got. What did you get? I'll share mine, you know, freely, without any problem.
Oh, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Jack Lee says, I saw someone asking to be funded to investigate. Seriously, it's getting a lot worse than the paranormal.
And there were
Absolutely.
also groups that started up GoFundMe pages so they could buy a REM pod or book into locations. You know, teams should not be doing that. Teams, if they can't go out and pay out their own pockets as a group, they shouldn't be doing it. You know, it's okay having 2,000 or 3,000 followers, but they're liking the content. They shouldn't be expected to pay for the content. And that's in essence what they're doing.
Jacqueline also said they wanted to be on a podcast. Wonder who that was. Was it our friend Lewis? No. Right. I know most people don't agree with this, right? I hear what Wayne's saying, right? See if you can't afford to investigate, don't. But there's plenty, right? And this is going to go into one big debate, I'm sure, right? But there's loads of places you could get into that are abandoned. Okay, they might not be in the best weather. Yes, it might not be inside. Then it comes on to the whole trespass bullshit. But as I say, right, and this is, I think I piss people off and I have this opinion, right? But the way I see it is, right, is if that person doesn't look after the building and doesn't maintain it and is never there, what's the issue? What is the issue? And trespass is actually no criminal. It's civil.
Civil, yeah, in your country. I don't know. It's not the same in the UK though, is it, Wayne? Oh, he didn't hear me. Wayne, is it trespassing in your country or is it civil matter?
Yeah. Well, it's different because Scottish law regards to trespass is different to English law regards to trespass. You can literally walk into most places without being prosecuted for it unless you're actually causing criminal damage. But over here now, if there's a fence and you scale it and you go in, then you will get prosecuted because that's classed as breaking and entering. If there's a fence down and there's a gap in the fence and you walk in, then that becomes the civil matter, and the police can come along and say, you know you're not supposed to be on here, and they're like, so jog on, you can't do nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot for auditors. I think that's how I can do that whole. Well, it's trespass. It's no criminal matter. And do you know what?
I'm not too keen on going to abandoned locations simply because when we go out filming or we go out on doing events, we have to have insurance in place.
Yeah.
So if we were to go to an abandoned location to film, we'll be using my insurance, and my insurance is null and void if we are going, into an abandoned building, which civilly is classed as trespass, my insurance would be null and void. So if I then fell down the stairs,
please don't think I was saying that for events, because I know you can't take 30 people to an abandoned place.
No, but I understand where you're coming from.
Go to an abandoned place and break my leg, I've got no comeback whatsoever. So I'd rather not go to abandoned places. And I've always said to our director, Sam, that, please don't get us going to abandoned places, take us to places that require permission so that somebody knows we are there. Because if something does happen, we need to be able to get out without any problems.
Yeah, follow this, man. Don't follow what I say.
I'll come and rescue you, Wayne. Don't worry.
Hi, Rita. Why am I saying hello, Rita? I bloody said hello. Cliff says there's so much on your doorstep. Definitely. Mark says you don't actually need equipment to investigate. It helps you speak your brain and your own feelings. Love you haircut, thanks. My hair was needing it badly. So yeah, I mean, I totally get it, you know, but what I don't get is these GoFunds and how easy it is to make them. Like, I could make one, see, because, well, here's a prime example. Did you guys ever see the guy who started a GoFundMe to go to Las Vegas? He set up he did. He set up a GoFundMe for people to fund them to go to Las Vegas. And it was like, what the actual shit? Oh, here's my boy. Hello, Ranger Danger. Where are you been? Look at that haircut. You and me could compare styles.
How about it done? You alright?
Yeah, I'm all good. We're all good. So, Jay, what's your opinion on Para-Unity? Come on, let it out. Sing it, sister.
Don't know, really. I ain't got a clue, to be fair.
I love what you've got going on here.
What? What's the matter?
No, I said it's nice. Yeah, rough and rugged man.
Razor's couple.
Got to be done.
Some people are lucky. I just finally tried to grow mine a couple of years ago. So.
Well, I was going to say mine's is getting a wee bit long. I need to shave it down.
The thing is, though, it's like you said, it's so easy to start a GoFundMe. I mean, if I'd have wanted to, my oldest son Ethan has got a lot of serious issues going on with his hips. It would be so easy for me to start a GoFundMe page to help get him down to the Royal Orthopaedic Hospital every time. And this week I was supposed to have had 2 appointments down there. And if it wasn't for the, I think it's the East Anglian Ambulance Service, we're able to provide a car to take us down there every time, free of charge. It would have cost me a fortune because the hospital is in the ULEZ, the ultra low emission zone. So I would have had to have paid £12.50 each day just to get there, as well as all the fuel. You know, astronomical. And I've got 3 appointments booked over the next 2 months for him down there. And it does take a toll on your pocket. So you could very easily just say, right, go fund me. Please help Ethan get to his hospital appointments. And just literally withdraw the money when it's needed. But that's not what it's about.
No.
And the problem is, right, with these GoFundMes, you can, like, check. They don't do any checks. It's just automatically, you know, the normal John goes in, goes, I want to go and investigate the Waverley Sanatorium. It's going to cost me $5,000, right? The next thing you know, everybody's paying, right? So say get half it or whatever, right? You don't know that money's actually been used for that. That could be used for some drug peddling in Colombia. I'm not saying that's what happens, but you know what I mean?
I think also for the paranormal field, if you're going to turn around to somebody and say, I've set up a GoFundMe page, I need a couple of REM pods for our next investigation. So people then invest that money. What that person should then do is do the honourable thing and then do a post showing them the REM pods that you have just brought, maybe the receipt or the invoice for the REM pods, just to prove to the people that have helped invest in it that it hasn't been wasted. You know, because like you say, it could be so easily done just like that. And when you look at it, a lot of people, they look at it on the basis that if an individual has 4,000 friends on Facebook and they were all to donate £1 to the GoFundMe page, that's £4,000.
Yeah.
You know, that could be an investigation once a month throughout the whole year.
Yeah.
All paid for, just like that.
Well, that's why I like a lot of these people that do the charity investigation events, and that's the best way to do it, because that way I know where my money's going.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Definitely. Nettie says, Nettie says, Lois, we'll all end up in the clink. Obviously, we will. Tracy says, I'm living on this. Insurance doesn't cover you in abandoned buildings. Always go to locations bike where insurance is valid, not worth backing insurance for abandoned buildings. True, Tracy. Robert says, I'm in the right place on Things Network. Rita says, hi. Tracy says, para-unity can and does happen. It depends on the people and the teams that come together.
Yep.
Para-unity, I love Delaney's terminology. Para-unity used to be a thing, now it's para-cuntology. You try to get me to say big words, asshole. Believe me, I've seen more backstabbing in the paranormal than anywhere else. Tracy says, that's for sure, it's right, but there is still some para-unity. Steve says, Tracy will help anyone, but the past 2 years, the amount of shit I've saw behind the scenes is unreal. Rehearsed podcasts and witch hunts. Greetings. Bobby says, greetings. Hey, Bobby. Mark says, correct, Lois, too many people ripping people off really angers me. Hiya, Kerry. Tracy says, yeah, I have to agree, there is so much of it going on and it does stop people coming together, but there is still some that can work on unity. Definitely, I mean, I'm not going to lie, right? I have found my very, very slim circle that I would say that I do para-unity on. And if there is anything that I don't know, if there is anything that I do need, not that I get this podcast. No, it's alright. I know where you're going with that, sweetheart. It's fine. But if there is something that I don't know, I will go to like MD, like that I have in my circle and say, look, I don't know this, or can you help me? And 9 times out of 10, it's good because we work together and it's fine. And that's what I love about it, is I have got my small circle where I can go to when it comes to things like that. And there should be more of that. Like, see if you don't know something, or see if you've went to a location that maybe somebody's been at and you get something, why not share that information? It's not a competition about who got the best EVPs, who got the best piece of evidence, who got the best, classy EVPs I've ever heard. It's not about that. It should be able to. My voice is starting to break, guys.
People make it like that, though.
It's my balls are dropping, so please excuse me. But as it should be. My voice is gone. No, not fucking why.
I know that.
But we can all say, but people will take that if you get a decent EVP. Wayne knows what I'm talking about. If you get a good shot of something, they will put their name on that and go, that's what I've got. But you think, well, I've got the same picture as me. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know. I'm a bit.
I mean,
people,
it's a thing you've got to be careful of, because with when you take photos, if you don't put a watermark on them, you're open license for it to be used anywhere without your permission. Because as soon as you put a photograph in the public domain, it allows the public to take them and use them at their disposal. So you have to watermark them.
Yep.
And and for a little while, I did do that with a couple of photos. One of the church farm in Skegness, the summer house. I had when I took the photo, there was a black silhouette standing inside the summer house.
Yeah.
And I was quickly warned, do not put it in the public domain without putting a watermark on it. So I put my initials right the way through the middle of it. And if anybody wanted to use it, they would have had to have contacted me first for me to give them permission. And then I would have sent them the photograph without the watermark in.
Without the watermark on.
You know, every now and then it comes up on Facebook. Don't allow Facebook to use your photos. Put a watermark in it, or do this and do that. And I think sometimes it's about clickbait. They're getting you to click on this thing, and it goes around. It's like Facebook are going to charge you from the 23rd of September. I saw that today, and I'm like, well, you do realise the 23rd of September's been and gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
Well, what are they charging you for?
Sorry?
What are they charging you for?
Well, exactly. It's because it's a social media platform that wants to earn money. So apparently this post was about Facebook going to be charging you for sharing photos and stuff like that. So it was basically a running cost. Only it was posted this morning, but Facebook were going to be starting to charge you from the 23rd. And I'm thinking, well, you're a bit late sending that information out.
Well, that's gone.
Well, in that case, if they want to do me for how many times I share my lives and that, I'm going to be bloody skinned. I'm going to have fuck all money. I better get myself a sugar daddy then.
But
Don't look at me.
You know, I mean,
You're young. I'm even older.
Sabrina, gotta move, sweetie. Gotta move.
I have spotted how petty some people and teams can be.
You are so cute.
Myself and Ellen had an experience at Ruffin Control Tower, and we actually made contact with a navigator called Jack Fryer. And
he pops up quite a bit, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I had never been at this point. It was the first time I'd ever investigated at Ruffin. I knew nothing about the place.
Lovely.
And all I knew it was a USAF base in World War II, and that was it. Ellen had already got a name beginning with J before we'd even got there. And on the first part of the investigation, we ended up doing dowsing rods, and we had we eventually got pointed to one of the display cabinets which had a navigator's compass in. And we asked if that was an instrument that he used on the aircraft, and he replied with a yes. We then went off upstairs, carried on investigating. Ellen and a friend had stayed downstairs, and they walked into another room, and I got a call through on the walkie to say I needed to get downstairs quick. And I thought a friend had passed out or something, so I've gone running down the stairs. I've walked in the room, and she's gone, look at the picture up on the wall. And I looked on the wall, and the very first picture you come across was a B-17 bomber with its flight crew, and in the bottom right-hand corner, and it gave you the names of all the crew. And the bottom right-hand corner was Navigator Jack Fryer. And I didn't know what to do with myself. But since then, I have asked various teams and various people that have been to the same location and asked them about Jack Fryer. And as Tracy says, she's come across Jack. Vivian has come across Jack and actually got a photograph of his silhouette standing on the airfield. But then there are other groups, when I ask them, have they had anything from a navigator called Jack Fryer come through? They don't want to know. And you're like, why? You know, they'll stand there and they'll go on about how their group had a brilliant night, but they won't dispense any of the information or the evidence that they've collected. And that's what it should be. You should be turning around if someone asks, you know, how did it go on in the Nissan huts? Or, you know, did you get through to such and such? They should be turning around and going, yeah, that's brilliant. But some teams don't because they want to keep it to themselves. And it's sad, really.
If I've stopped reading the comments, it's because I've got a really sore throat. But going back to what Steve said, I totally agree. I actually mentioned that a wee while ago, Steve, about a social media personality who will not be named.
Is that like Harry Potter? He who must not be named.
Oh yeah. All we'll say is that every 3 months comes into my mind. But yeah.
Your name rhymes with Pilchard Race.
Well, that's why I believe, again, in good record keeping, too, as you're doing your investigation. That way, everything that I write down, here, this is what I got. You can see it. You can look at it. You can, whatever you need to do with it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, that's why I put the picture of the summer house photo on Facebook. I was quite happy to share it out. And Jacqueline was there when we saw it. We couldn't decipher what we had seen in the picture. We were walking backwards and forwards to try and ascertain what it was we had seen, and we couldn't disprove it. But I was quite happy to put that photo on Facebook for everybody to see. Now, if I was like these ego teams where it's all about them, I'd have kept it to myself. I'd have gone, look what I got. Me, smug me. I got something nobody else has. Well, what's the point? The whole idea is to share what you've got.
Definitely. I mean, look at me and Cliff last night. Me and Cliff, being a historian, he says he puts up old photos to help members. I like his answer to that one. There, like last night, me and Cliff were having a conversation about Boleskine House, because I said I really want to really do heavy research on it, because obviously it's history. Oh my fucking god, my voice has gone severely.
You need a strip
Oh, yeah.
I know.
You'll end up with a voice as deep as mine.
In that case, I'll fucking keep it so I can sound like you. So me and Cliff were obviously talking about Boleskine House because obviously the history. Because when me and Ian did Alistair Cowley, it was when we were talking and I was reading some information, and I just thought, you know what, I really want to research this place because of the fires. And me and Cliff had a conversation and see how good that is to even reach out to people that watch your show. If they know something, reach out to them. It's just, I'm not even answering you, Mr. Daly. Who has an asshole. I have followers, but need permission to publish them for the shareholders. But as I said, it's just so good just to reach out even to your supporters, and if they know something, like with Cliff being a historian, he's definitely somebody I would go to if I needed any information. Even they pulled me up the map last night, round Boleskine House, and it was really interesting.
But that's the thing. I mean, I'm not a lover of research until after I've investigated, because what I like to do is if I don't take notes, I've walked away with nothing. Yep. So it's nice to have photos and the videos, and then maybe short little notes of things that have happened. And then when I've come away from that area or that place, and I've got home and I've woken up the following day, then I can look into the researching it and to see whether the names that have come through do correspond with the location and that time period. If I go in there already knowing details, possibly about what spirits are there, what the place was used for, you could then go down the road of power of suggestion, and your imagination takes over and projects these things, knowing the knowledge that you know. So to me, I feel it's easier not to know anything and wait until afterwards to do that research, and then you can go, wow, that does correspond because I didn't know nothing about it.
That's what Kerry said. I prefer going in cold to a place. I'm the exact same.
Kerry, you have to be careful of Kerry. Kerry likes going into narrow passageways.
Ooh, girl after my own heart.
Or Widley in Portsmouth, she squeezed down the thinnest little passageway and ended up getting her coat covered in God knows what from the walls. She's like, Oh, squeezing down.
Well,
I wish
see,
I could.
he will be my witness that I tried at Lennox Castle and I ripped a hole in my trousers that I only got on the Saturday. Lucky enough, guys, I had a pair of jammy bottoms underneath it, or I'd have been flashing my arse all night. And I was on a live, that would make it 10 times worse. I was on a live, and I didn't realise it until they pointed out that I had a hole in my trousers. So I was like, fuck. I was like, please just like walk about with a thing at the back. Oh, Jamie, wait to tell you what I done. I ordered, I'll give you a laugh, guys. I ordered books from the World of Books, right? They're second hand, but they're good quality, right? So I was sitting picking my books. I'm looking at I've had good experiences. I see that wee finger going, but I've had good experiences.
No, I don't like World of Books. They're trying to sell my books for £3.49. 1p cheaper than what I sell them for.
Oh, if I knew that, I would have bought them.
But they're second hand. They're second hand books and they're selling them for near enough the same price.
What I mean is, I'm just saving it up for when I get my real books. So, what happened was, obviously, guys use no other credential. So, I was looking at some crime books, right? And there was this really, I don't read. I just, oh, that looks good. I'll click it. So, I thought I was getting the Dummies Guide to Serial Killers. And in fact, when I actually got the book of The Dummies Guide to Serial Killing.
Well, Lois, you do realise the second word of that title?
I know, I'm a dummy.
So they got you with that one, didn't they?
So it was so funny. I was like, it was so funny because when I came in today and my sister had said they'd been delivered, she says, you've got it. Oh, gorgeous. She says, you've got some explaining to do. And I says, why? She says, what's this all about? And I was like that. Oh, I said, that's not what I wanted. I said, but hey ho. I says, I'll be more funny. Here's two Tilly's. Tilly.
So is that a rough guide on how to kill somebody and dispose of the body without getting caught?
Well, that's that.
That should be a number one bestseller then.
I know, Robert, my voice has got to go at the very end. It did the same when I did Dr. Shipman. Picking things up, even though you can't find anything else out, is still great as it could just be a normal person doing its own thing in the day, hence making a personal experience. Hope that makes sense. Coming for you, Mark, never makes fucking sense. But I love you, really. I like to go in and see what I get first with no exception, but definitely. And see, the more that I think, the more you go to a place, more of a rapport that you build up the spirit. But you ever found people that when you've been to a place before and you know about the information and they comes in and start telling you, you're wrong, and they've only been there like 2 seconds, never been to the place before.
I've seen it before.
It's difficult. I mean, when I get invited out to places that I've been to before and I've had one lot of information come through, and I'll be standing there and all of a sudden they'll come out with information that's completely different to what I've got. I won't butt in and I won't correct them. I won't say anything simply because the way it could be playing out is that it could be spirit from another time that's communicating with them, not necessarily from the time when I investigated there. It could be from a completely different parallel time to what I've got. So their answers can be completely different to what I get. And the next people's answers could be completely different to what both teams previous got. So I think I've just sort of stood back and I never interfere with it. And the amount of times I've been invited to Harrods Redoubt Fort, and I've been there about 16, 17 times. and something always happens there. But sometimes the level of activity is quite high, and other times it's almost non-existent. But you do get something. But I will never interfere with the guests that are there currently doing the investigation, and they sit there and they're in the, say, the boat room in Harwich, and they're all standing. They've got their hands on the boat, and it starts rocking, and they've got, oh, we've got a mariner. He's the vice captain of a boat, and his name's Bob. And I'll be like, well, okay. 3 weeks ago, we had a vice captain by the name of Sherman come through. So, again, it proves the point that not necessarily could be a vice captain Bob and a vice captain Sherman. So rather than interject and go, actually, I was here 3 weeks ago and it was Sherman, not Bob, so your information's wrong. I'm taking something away from them. That's their experience. They're entitled to that experience. And so I'll leave them to it. I'll let them carry on and I'll just stay in the background. You can't interject, otherwise it just ruins it for them.
I'm trying to bring my voice back, Andy, but it's dead. Terry says, just to say I would work in this field with anyone until they disrespected myself, the venue, or the spirits.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And I feel really sorry for a venue recently that got disrespected. I think they were still under the bridge, to be honest.
I'll work with anybody, providing they've got some form of, how can I put it, organisation. I went with a group, totally disorganised. The guests had paid £35 each to go on this investigation, on this event.
Yeah.
We walked in. They're all sitting there. They're having tea and coffee and eating biscuits and cakes and everything else. There was no introduction to the team members. It was just, if you need a member of the team, look for the people with the word crew on the T-shirts. That's it.
Really?
And then bang on 8:30, they went, right, 8:30, come back for 10 o'clock, off you go. Just left them to it.
Really?
They just wandered off in their own little groups. They did their own thing. They went where they wanted. And I'd already said to the one of the groups, I'm going to go and do a live feed from in the cells, because the cells for me it means quite a lot to me, because I had a mannequin dummy thrown at me in there.
Wow.
And that to me is probably the most evidence I've ever been able to get in any one time. You know, a mannequin dummy being thrown 12 foot across a room at you in front of somebody else as well. Somebody else had witnessed it at the time. And so I said, I'm going to do this live feed from inside the entrance to the cell block. So I've shut the door behind me. I put a notice on the door saying live filming. So everybody should have been aware that I was in there. I was even sitting in the window, because it was the only place that I could get a live feed running. And I was filming down the corridor that led to the 3 cells. And I was explaining to the people that were watching what had happened to me in the second cell. And this guy just came waltzing in through the door, slammed the door open, brought somebody else in and walked straight down the corridor in front of the live feed. And I went, sorry about that, guys. But obviously people can't read what the sign says. And I come off the live feed and walked off. You know, there was just no organisation in the group whatsoever. And from that moment onwards, I said, I'm sorry, but don't ask me to come on any more of your events, because I'm not gonna turn up.
No.
It was disgusting. There was no organisation whatsoever. It was just get on with it, come back at 10:30. And
See the only payment I want for investigations. If somebody buys me Kipling's apple pies and makes me apple crumble, I'll love you forever. That's how easy both are. That's how easy both are.
I'm telling you this.
Who picked the subject last week? Was it Dan?
No, me.
No, James.
You did, right. Eric, pick a subject for next week. Anyone off the top of your head?
Oh my gosh. What was I thinking? I can't now. Now my brain is frozen.
I could pick one.
Go ahead, pick one.
How about varying equipment?
What? Sorry, Rains. What was that one? Sorry.
Different types of equipment that people use on paranormal investigations.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, where'd she go?
Oh.
Goodness, sorry, I've crashed. I've crashed. That's a good one. That's a good one.
It was the cow aliens that.
Yeah, definitely a good one.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? It's the fact that I've got it wired up to upstairs. No, I'm kidding on. I've got internet. I'm kidding on. But no, when
What are the one before
have you?
that?
When have you ever picked up?
It was a German that threw the mannequin at me, Klaus.
Threw the mannequin.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a German pilot.
See, I love anything to do with German.
See, there's nothing wrong with working with a team, but it's good to be footloose and fancy free, as I put it. He would have needed a Ouija board for Rooney.
But I want to answer HS Rice's question. Are you're all
Holly,
saying never pay for investigations? No, I'm saying
sorry,
don't
Holly, I
pay,
didn't see that.
yeah, don't pay £300-400 for an investigation or $300-400 in this country. That's just ridiculous. I mean, no one should have to pay that much.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I think locations have got to earn money.
Yes.
And the problem has been now that because of this, because of COVID and the cost of living crisis and everything going up. I mean, petrol went up another 3p today. I almost had a heart attack. You know, the cost of everything is going up. And so the venues are putting their prices up as well. And when I contacted Harrods Redoubt Fort, and they said, oh, the price has gone up another £50. And I went, what for? And they went, well, it's cost of living crisis and the cost of things, you know, electricity is not cheap now. And I went, hang on a minute. We only have one light on for about 20 minutes. And then we all go dark. What electricity are we going to be using? We certainly ain't going to be using £200 worth.
Well, if I do what I want to do, how I mean, how do I explain this? If I do what I want to do, how many investigations before it just, you know, becomes irrelevant anymore do you think it would take?
Yeah, it will get to a stage where they'll put the prices up so much that people will just say, fine, we just won't go there. And there are locations. Colchester Castle, I think, have just recently upped their price from £1,500 to £2,000.
Yeah.
And you're like, why? But
that's for 4 hours.
But they're starting to do their own now. And that's the reason why they're putting it out of reach for a lot of other teams to do, because they want to do their own.
Again, I say it many times, and I know I said it before. When I get over there, I plan on I'm getting a place in Scotland, I'm getting a place in England, and I'm just going to have flats there. But I'm going to buy a big place, and I can make my money doing weddings and stuff like that. So I want to open it for investigations for free. I know people have to have insurance, and that's what I want. But I think it should be, but how many people can come to my place before it starts, becoming irrelevant for people to even want to come there? Because you get so many evidence that is, at a point.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that places, I mean, obviously you're going to have running costs regardless.
Yeah.
So if you buy a place in Scotland and one in England, obviously there's going to have to be council tax bills and running costs with electricity, water and things like that. So you have, to some point, have to pay for those. So you have to charge something, but to the extent that they're charging, just gets to a point where you as a organizer of a team or a public event, you look at it and you go, okay, it's going to cost me X amount. So to cover the cost of that, I've got to be charging X amount.
But see, the problem is, right? See, if you go in and don't tell them that you're a paranormal investigator, it's amazing the price that they'll throw you. But as soon as you mention you're a PI, it goes right through the roof before you know it. It's like, what the fucking hell? Like, obviously, it's nuts. Like, I'm going to use a prime example, right? I looked at a place recently for a giggle to see how much that I could go there for the night or whatever. I'm going to change the prices a bit, right? Because it'll make it stately obvious and, for people that's been here. So I'm going to chop and change the prices, right? So, say me and Jamie fancy a night away. Don't get excited now, Jamie. Don't even take a heart attack at this, son. So me and Jamie, right, go away for the night to this place. Nothing happens, by the way, folks. Single rooms or whatever, right? So for me and Jamie, it would be 200. And then say I wanted to include Wayne, right? I don't maybe get funny ideas for that one, right? So me, Jamie, and Wayne go to this place, right? And it'll be 250, 300, right? So there's that hanging. But what I had to laugh at about this place was they're meant to be running a hotel, but you have to bring your own duvet. Bring your own duvet and bring your own stuff. Like, bring your own duvet. Bring your own duvet.
Got to bring my own duvet. I stayed at home.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, sorry. Wait a minute. I'll start this again. I'm sorry, Jamie, but I'm not taking you anywhere. I'm taking Terry to Willies. Me and him are going to this hotel. I'm sorry to let you down, Jamie. Right, I don't mean to break your heart, but Terry's coming, right?
As long as you leave me out of that.
Listen, Rhea's beside you. I'll get battered if I use that sort of language. And it was so.
But like I was saying before, I think that I can
You
definitely.
filthy bastard.
I can definitely buy both places, and that way I have a place to stay each location, because I only have to be back here in America 1 month out of the whole entire year, and then I can come back. And I want to buy a place at least in between where I can open it up for investigators to investigate, and I can make my money just by renting it out for weddings.
Yeah.
See, to be honest, I'm not trying to put you off coming to Scotland, but the problems we have here with cost of living and that is, I don't know what it's like in England, but from a Scotland point of view, it's really hard going now. Really hard. Rhea says she forgives me. Thank fuck for that. I didn't want to lose another viewer. But
I understand that you have a problem with cost of living there, and Tim, I hate saying stuff without people getting angry at me because of my situation. You know what I mean? I can't help my situation. By the time I'm ready to come over there, I won't have a problem paying for cost of living. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's not so bad. And the good thing about Scotland compared to England is you get free prescriptions. I feel for you guys in England, because I think that's pretty shit for what you guys have got to pay, and then you've got to pay for your medication on top of it. That's shit.
Pay nothing because I don't pay for mine anyway. I might as well.
That's because it comes from Scotland.
Well, that I found out the other day from my mom that the only place in all the world that doesn't have free healthcare is America. We don't have free healthcare.
I would definitely say I feel if I had to put those three countries together, well, I would have to say I feel more sorry for America, because I don't know, as much as I would love to move to America, I mean, see if I could drop everything tomorrow, I'd be on the first plane to America. Fuck this, I'm out here. But then I think to myself, the amount it would be for the cost of living over there, the price of healthcare, if I break a leg, what happens, how much will it cost me, and things like that. It's going to be astronomical. But then I think
thousands and thousands of dollars if you don't have the SSI insurance that people get here that are handicapped and stuff like that. then you're okay. But your own private insurance costs about $6,000 a year for it.
Yeah, and that's the way it's going to start heading over here. A lot of NHS departments they're looking at privatising so they can bring these private companies in. I mean, you got like the likes of Virgin Healthcare. They've started taking over in various places, and they've been doing it in Colchester, the maternity care. Virgin Healthcare are doing. And originally it used to be the district nurses of the NHS would come and see you. Now all of a sudden it's an untrained, hardly anybody with experience. When Tamsin was born, we had this lady turn up and she was throwing Tamsin around like she was a rag doll. And I'm like, how dare you treat her like that? Ellen was infuriated by it. And we ended up putting an official complaint in because of the way she was treating Tamsin. And it turned out she was only freshly trained. Yeah. And they literally just shipped them out straight away with minimal training.
It really is.
Right, on that note, I'm going to go.
It's okay because I'm just going to finish the show anyway, but I want to thank you guys for coming on. I really, really do appreciate it. Thank you very much, Wayne, for stepping in as well. I just want to say thank you to all the viewers tonight and your comments, and I'm really, really happy it's not went for a free-for-all. But definitely, guys, on Thursday you'll see the second part of the Jill Dando part. On Friday we are doing mental health on Frighteners, so tune in definitely. But definitely everybody have a good week and stay safe. See you all later.